Tonight, urgent terror probe. The Prime Minister ignores growing calls from Bondi victims for a royal commission, instead doubling down on a review into federal agencies. World exclusive, the Bondi hero who saved countless lives tells how he took down one of the gunmen but grieves for those who died. Presidential progress towards peace for Ukraine, but thorny issues remain following talks between Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky. North Queensland on high alert as dangerous deluge triggers flash flooding, putting communities at risk. Silver screen goddess and animal activist Brigitte Bardot dies aged 91, leaving behind a controversial legacy. And redemption for Comanche after winning raceline honours in the 80th Sydney to Hobart. We're live with all the celebrations and wash-up.
This is 10 News.
Good evening, I'm Jayde Cotic. Calls for a Commonwealth Royal Commission into the Bondi Beach terror attack have again been rejected. The Prime Minister insisting a national security review will do the job. It will be completed by April, but ignores calls from victims' families who wrote an emotional open letter to Anthony Albanese.
Standing his ground, the Prime Minister sticking with a review and no Commonwealth Royal Commission into the Bondi Beach terrorist attack.
It is in the national interest for us to do the Richardson review on national security.
Even after the families of 11 of the Bondi Beach victims pleaded directly with Anthony Albanese, calling for a federal probe. You owe us answers, you owe us accountability, and you owe Australians the truth.
So many people in power in Australia that understand the bigger picture have called for this Royal Commission. They understand what's at play, they understand what's at stake.
But the government insists its review will lead to change faster than any Royal Commission.
I understand why families and different people would call for it. Is it the right way to deal with national security? The answer is no. Is it the right way to deliver unity? The answer again is no.
Instead, releasing its terms of reference into the security review led by Dennis Richardson, which will examine what Commonwealth agencies knew about Naveed and Sajid Akram before the attack, how the Commonwealth, state and territory agencies interacted and shared information, and if anything more could have been done to prevent Australia's worst terrorist attack. The findings will be handed down in April.
Departments and agencies will cooperate fully with the review and provide assistance in the form of documents, data, material and meetings.
A move slammed by the Coalition.
Today the Prime Minister thumbed his nose at these families and told them in effect that he knows better.
He's tone deaf, he's out of step with the rest of the nation.
And Jewish leaders.
It doesn't look at the problem of anti-Semitism across this country.
As work on a New South Wales Royal Commission gets underway.
The short answer is I don't have a date yet. As soon as possible.
We want to make sure that the best form of Commonwealth support is provided to New South Wales.
The Prime Minister has also hinted that federal Parliament could return earlier than expected in the new year as it pushes through its national gun buyback scheme and hate speech reforms.
The Parliament will resume in 2026 as soon as possible.
But the fight for a Commonwealth Royal Commission is far from over.
We can do more than one thing at the same time. The families want and need healing, and the Australian community wants accountability.
You need to step up, you need to be held accountable, you need to be held responsible. You owe it to us.
Matthew Carstunen, 10 News.
And the Bondi Beach hero has been released from hospital following the mass shooting. In a world-exclusive interview with our partner, CBS News, Ahmed Al-Ahmed opened up for the first time on how, in a split-second decision, he bravely stopped one of the gunmen and saved countless lives.
Were you worried about the second gunman on the footbridge?
No, I didn't worry about anything. I was just... My target was just to take the gun from him and to stop him from killing a human being life and not killing innocent people.
Do you realise that from your actions you saved countless lives that day?
I know I saved lots of people's life innocent kids and women and all this and man. And I know I saved lots, but I feel sorry still for the lost. I jumped in his back, hit him, and hold him with my right hand and start saying a word, like to warn him, drop your gun, stop doing what you're doing. And it's come all in the fast, and emotionally I'm doing something which is, I feel something, a power in my body, my brain, and I want to see people killed in front of me. I don't want to see blood. I don't want to hear his gun. I don't want to, see people, screaming and begging, asking help. And that's my soul asked me to do that. And all and everything in my heart and my brain, everything, it's worked, just to manage and to save the people's life.
The grieving families of a man and a woman stabbed to death in Sydney's northwest have spoken of their torment while paying tribute to their loved ones. The woman's ex-partner has now been charged with 2 counts of murder.
It was the news that Anasani Wakavuki's family never wanted to hear or have to break to her 3 children.
Those 3 kids just, doesn't have a mum and no one to rely to,
Then who's going to look after them?
The 38-year-old had moved to Australia from Fiji in 2018, a story she shared with 30-year-old Epi Natini, who she'd met in Sydney.
It's such a huge loss for a family, to his friends.
But yesterday morning, their lives were cut short. Both were at Anasani's house at Quakers Hill when they were stabbed to death, allegedly by her former partner.
People present, everyone loved her, always smiling.
Aneri Vunitabua is now behind bars accused of their murder. Anasani's family says the pair had only recently separated.
So shocked, we couldn't believe that she was gone yesterday because we were just messaging each other.
Anasani's family have launched a fundraiser for her children back in Fiji with hopes that they can eventually move to Australia as their mother had planned.
For my sister Anna, if her children could be migrated to Australia.
We really loved her kids.
Epi's family now grappling with the knowledge that he won't be coming home.
Knowing that our next gathering will be his funeral is something that we're trying to come into terms with.
Hannah Stewart, 10 News.
US President Donald Trump says a peace deal to end the war in Ukraine is closer than ever following a meeting with the Ukrainian president in Florida. The 2 leaders met at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate, but thorny issues stand in the way of lasting peace.
Handshakes and renewed hopes for a peace deal in Palm Beach.
I really believe we're probably, Mr. President, by far closer than ever before.
The US president hosted his Ukrainian counterpart after weeks of intense negotiations on a revised 20-point peace plan aimed at stopping the war along its current front lines. The 2-hour meeting resulting in progress, he says, but not yet a pact.
I don't have deadlines. You know what my deadline is? Getting the war ended.
A restrained reply from an administration that's previously promised peace in a matter of days.
I will end that war in 1 day. It'll take 24 hours.
I would say let's set it at 100 days and move our way back.
10 or 12 days.
The negotiations came as parts of Kyiv endured a fierce Russian bombardment over the weekend. President Volodymyr Zelensky pushing the peace deal to include security guarantees to prevent future Russian aggression.
We have great achievements, 20-point peace plan, 90% agreed, and US-Ukraine security guarantees 100% agreed.
Yet President Trump concedes several thorny issues are yet to be resolved.
The land you're talking about, some of that land has been taken. Some of that land is maybe up for grabs.
Namely the eastern Ukrainian region of Donbass, with Russia unwavering in its demand for Kyiv to concede the territory.
We have to respect our law and our people. We respect the territory which we control.
President Trump says he spoke with Vladimir Putin ahead of the meeting.
Russia wants to see Ukraine succeed. Once it sounds a little strange.
President Zelensky equally is sceptical about Russia's readiness to share control of the contested Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant.
He wants to see that open, and he hasn't hit it with missiles, hasn't hit it with anything.
President Trump will host Ukrainian and European leaders in Washington again next month. And for now, he's hedging his bets on when the war will actually be over.
So if it went really well, maybe a few weeks.
Abby Dinham, 10 News.
Communities in North Queensland experiencing worsening conditions after more than 300 millimetres fell in just 24 hours. The Weather Bureau says another 700 millimetres could fall in some areas, and residents should be prepared to protect life and property from dangerous flooding.
A deluge with no end in sight. Mount Isa resident Melissa Summerfield says the Leichhardt River is always dry.
You take your animals, horses for walks. You can completely walk the entire circuit.
So after a year of droughts, there's a sense of awe.
It was incredible, the amount of people and community that come out to watch it, because it is a sight to behold.
Mixed with trepidation.
This is very reminiscent of, 2019 when we had the last big floods.
Scenes such as this emerging across North Queensland, with rainfall totals exceeding hundreds of millimetres. Mission Beach recorded 334 mils of rain. Fishhole Creek was close behind with 247. On par was Oakland Park with 246 millimetres, and in Uramo, residents copped 205 millimetres of rain. And it's not over.
The peak of the rainfall will be over the next 2 days, with heavy to intense rainfall across a broad area of northern Queensland.
That intense rainfall could mean total falls of up to 1 metre or more.
It may start to drift slightly further south later this week as it weakens.
Councils are offering sandbags in an attempt to protect property.
Places like Lulista Park Railway Estate, we've got them at Mount Low Parkway at Mount Low, Blue Water Community Centre, Blue Water. We've got them at Kungalla SES Depot.
But once this monsoon low passes through, there's still 5 months left of a wet season to come.
So expecting the worst of those conditions will be for the rest of Monday and into Tuesday. From Wednesday, the main culprit, this low pressure system, should start to weaken.
This weather system may dissipate and move on, but we're very early. It's not even the start of January.
Christina Paul-Jack, 10 News.
The crew of Comanche has declared its Sydney-Hobart win a redemption for last year's failure to finish. But with 90 yachts still on the water, the race for the handicap win remains fierce. Brooke East joins us live from Hobart's Constitution Dock. Brooke, there's still plenty of people watching the race closely.
Absolutely, Jade. The dock here is still pretty full, with a large majority of the fleet still to come in. That being said, Comanche will be watching from the pub. They've been here for about 24 hours already after that huge win here in Hobart. Constitution Dock was absolutely packed to the brim to watch them charge down the Derwent to victory. Obviously, that was huge for them, but no one will be watching this race closer than Celestial V70, the reigning overall champions. That being said, they've relinquished their lead after it took them 5 hours to come down the Derwent. Very slow conditions. They went straight to Customs House for a drink, but they will be watching very closely again, likely from inside.
It's agony. I mean, we had a lot of time on them when we first started coming down the coast, and it just trickled away.
So ultimately, this overall winner will likely go to a smaller boat. The double-handers are doing very well. Ultimately, the winner is given the Tattersalls Cup, which is very prized in this race. But of course, everyone cares about the glitz and the glamour of the Super Maxis. And Jade, we will have all of that and the celebrations later in sport.
Thanks, Brooke. Enjoy those celebrations. Now here's Katie previewing the rest of tonight's sport. And Katie, a big call looms for an Aussie veteran.
Yes, Jade. Usman Khawaja has given no indication yet whether he plans to retire in Sydney, but the call could be taken out of his hands if he doesn't. And while not pitch perfect, the Aussie coach says lay off the MCG curator. Plus, caught in trouble, Kyrgios in the firing line after a bizarre battle of the sexes. And a play of the day that hits all the right notes, a heartfelt moment at the hockey.
Thanks, Katie. Coming up in 10 News. Fire emergency, the hunt for an arsonist after an out-of-control grass fire threatened homes. And the special tribute for the Bondi attack victims amid heightened security across Sydney for New Year's. Welcome back. Fire crews are investigating the cause of a suspicious blaze which threatened homes in Melbourne's northwest overnight. Aerial units were called to Avondale Heights after a grass fire ignited in difficult terrain. It burnt around 4,000 square metres before being brought under control. Firefighters were able to protect the properties at risk. One of the world's most spectacular New Year's Eve celebrations happens down under. But this year, the Sydney fireworks will have some special touches, including a tribute to the Bondi victims, illuminating the harbour for peace.
Before the greatest show on earth, there's the busiest show on earth, prepping the Sydney fireworks. After 29 years, our cracker king, Fortunato Foti, has packed the most ever.
There's about 13,500 of these.
That's aerial fireworks alongside another 25,000 ground-based effects, set to lift spirits after a painful year.
For that 8 minutes at 9 o'clock and 12 minutes at midnight, it's about just enjoying the moment. The fireworks is what brings people together.
An extra special show has been added to honour the Bondi victims.
At 11 p.m, we are encouraging everyone to light up the torches on their mobile phones and stand together as one in a minute's silence. We are illuminating the harbour in a bold message of peace.
Seen by 425 million globally. On the ground, more than 1 million will pack 50 free vantage sites under beefed-up security
to allow people to come together as a community and reflect while still enjoying our way of life.
On the fireworks barges today,
this is a really good show.
It was all hands on deck. From 300 grams to the big whopper weighing 8 kilos. Somewhere in here are never before seen fireworks, but tonight we can reveal what they are. The skies will come alive with cracker cockatoos and koalas, bottlebrush and waratahs. The bridge pylons will literally bloom, and for the first time, not one, but 2 rainbow waterfalls will cascade over the harbour bridge. Ali Donaldson, 10 News.
And in Melbourne, police will be out in force as millions of revellers ring in the new year. 2,500 officers will be patrolling the city, states' transport hubs and entertainment precincts. Police say they will be carrying out weapon searches to ensure public safety.
I want to stress that there's absolutely no threat to any event in Victoria, but we're taking absolutely every precaution. That's why we've got such a strong police presence right across the state.
More than 500,000 people are expected to travel into the CBD for family and midnight fireworks shows. Well, now it's time for a check of the weather with Steph Baumgartel. Steph, unrelenting rain in Queensland.
Jayde, there's so much rain, they are calling it a land foon. There are numerous flood warnings in place, including a major flood warning for the Flinders River in the state's Gulf country. Rainfall totals could exceed 1 metre of rain over the coming days, almost the equivalent of an entire year of rainfall in Brisbane. On the satellite photo, you can see this monsoon cloud over North Queensland. That's associated with the heavy rain and flooding. There's some clouds streaming from central WA to coastal South Australia and approaching Tasmania. And check out this swirl of cloud off the Kimberley coast where tropical cyclone Hayley has formed. On our synoptic chart, a low in the northern tropics along with a monsoon flow will bring heavy rain and storms. Hot northerly winds for South Australia, Victoria and the interior ahead of a cool change. Around the country today, Brisbane reached 29 degrees, a little cooler in Sydney and 26. In Canberra, it peaked at 30 degrees, 35 in Melbourne, 29 in Hobart and an absolute scorcher today in Adelaide with 38 degrees there. I'll be back with the extended forecast closer to 6 o'clock.
Thanks, Steph. We'll see you soon. Ahead in 10 News. Remembering Brigitte Bardot, we look back on the extraordinary life of the sex symbol and animal activist. And deadly crash, a mid-air tragedy as two helicopters collide in New Jersey. Welcome back. Sex symbol turned animal rights activist Brigitte Bardot has died at the age of 91 at her home in southern France. Her life was punctuated by on and off-screen scandals, but her influence on women's freedom and her fight against animal cruelty will define her legacy.
She was the blonde bombshell who oozed sex on screen. Brigitte Bardot was a woman ahead of her time. The French film star was born into a wealthy Parisian family in 1934 and was trained in classical ballet. At just 14, she was discovered by a family friend who put her on the cover of Elle magazine. But it was a French movie producer, Roger Vadim, and her first future husband who saw her potential. Her role in the film And God Created Woman, released in 1956, rocketed her to international stardom.
Two of the most arresting sights in Paris are the Eiffel Tower and Brigitte Bardot.
The fame that she had when she was really young, it was global.
By 22, she'd been in more than a dozen movies and was one of France's highest paid actors.
Do you want to be a serious actress?
I will be a serious actress when I will be older.
During the 60s, her dark eyeliner, pouty lips and tousled hair made her a global style icon.
She broke the mold because she had that idea that she had this sort of free, liberated sexuality.
In 1973, she left it all and moved to Saint-Tropez to focus on animal rights, saying, "I gave my beauty and my youth to men. I'm going to give my wisdom and experience to animals." Her activism knew no borders.
We've been trying to get the world's attention on this issue for a long time, but just by putting her cheek to cheek with baby seal out on the ice, I guaranteed us the cover of almost every major magazine in the world.
She sold her jet-setting life, movie memorabilia and jewellery to create a foundation, which confirmed the news of her death and started an outpouring of tributes for the many roles she played in life.
What she did for animals, what she did for women, all that she represented, her frankness, and things will not be the same.
Described as an angel for animals who went to bat and to court to protect them all. And from the French president, Brigitte Bardot embodied a life of freedom. We mourn a legend of the century.
I think that she would certainly like to be remembered as an advocate for animals than for the work that she did previous to that.
Scandalous on screen, Brigitte's off-screen reputation was damaged later in life, found guilty 5 times of inciting racial hatred. 9 decades, 50 films, 4 husbands and an estranged son, Brigitte Bardot was 91. Ashley Paholic, 10 News.
Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu has arrived in Florida to meet with President Trump at his Mar-a-Lago beach club. A day after holding talks with Ukraine's president, Trump will welcome Netanyahu to formally discuss the much-anticipated second phase of the Gaza ceasefire. Trump has been vocal about moving to the second phase in January, but his Israel counterpart insists Hamas disarms before any further steps are taken. Iran's ballistic missile program, Hezbollah and Lebanon, plus America's security assistance program are also on the agenda. Police raids across Italy have netted more than $1 million of illegal financing for Hamas, with some of the money found in the offices of a pro-Palestinian charity, while wads of cash were found stashed in bedrooms and other homes. Several computers were also discovered hidden in secret wall cavities and are suspected to have been used to carry out some of the transactions to the militant group. 2 helicopters have collided mid-air in a southern New Jersey town, killing 1 pilot and critically injuring another. Dramatic video shows the tail of one of the aircraft and the crumpled wreckage of the other at Hamilton Municipal Airport. Investigators are now examining the communication between the 2 pilots and whether they were able to see each other before the tragedy. Still to come, we'll have the latest on tonight's top stories. Plus, greater protection why the army could be called in as security at Jewish events is reviewed. And drink driving nightmare as an out-of-control car smashes into a suburban lounge room.
$1.5 billion on claims in the last 12 months.
Ooh, thanks. I feel $1.5 billion times better.
Do yourself a favour, quote with Budget Direct first.
Insurance solved with Budget Direct.
This is 10 News, and here are tonight's headlines. The Prime Minister rules out a royal commission into the Bondi Beach terror attack despite fresh calls from families of the victims. While the Bondi Beach hero Ahmed Al-Ahmed breaks his silence in a world-exclusive interview with CBS News. And tributes pour in from around the world for sex symbol and style icon Brigitte Bardot, who died aged 91. Extraordinary measures, including arming Jewish security guards and deploying the Defence Force, could be rolled out in New South Wales in the wake of the Bondi terror attack. The state's Premier says such steps may be necessary to help Jewish families live without fear.
Bondi Beach remains heavily policed for now, but the Premier is already looking ahead.
I don't think that we can really fulfil our promise to restore Jewish life to New South Wales unless we can say hand on heart that the security for those things has fundamentally changed.
He's considering arming members of CSG, a Jewish security group, at future events, and says he'll work with the Commonwealth too.
For the extraordinary step of an army presence on our streets, particularly as Operation Shelter begins to change.
Embracing the community further, the support hub now meets kosher requirements.
Disproportionately, this was a target on our Jewish Australians, but it's impacted Australians of all faiths, of all persuasions, of all cultures.
Until at least the end of January, anyone who needs it can access emergency care and counselling, while the Mayor is recalling local council early next year to discuss a memorial, among other more controversial issues. For some, this footbridge should be a permanent place of remembrance. Others want it gone altogether. A deeply divisive issue, one council will now be forced to confront.
Probably a really scary memory.
It's necessary. In my opinion, it should stay.
If it's teared down, then we forget about it, and it should never be forgotten.
Whatever decision will be made will need to be sensitive and have wide consultation.
Whatever the outcome, twice a day, every day, this community is already remembering.
They were the best of us.
United in grief, in prayer and in song.
Advance, Australia fair.
Tallulah Thompson, 10 News.
A drunk driver has slammed into the living room of a house in Melbourne's Outer West. Emergency services were called to Koranjang at 10:30 last night following reports a car had crashed into the property. Police say nobody was home at the time of the incident. A 24-year-old male driver tested positive to drink driving and had his licence suspended. He was taken to hospital with minor injuries. Firefighters and SES crews worked to stabilise the roof and remove the vehicle. Well, the countdown is well and truly on to the Australian Open, with resurfacing at Melbourne Park complete and line markings started to be added to the court. The frantic 2-week project will also see the digital video walls being installed in the arenas. The Grand Slam event begins on January 12. Now here's Katie with tonight's sport. And Katie, the Aussie coach comes to the defence of the MCG.
Yes, Jade. Andrew McDonald has gone into bat for curator Matt Page, calling Melbourne's problem pitch an outlier. And Aussie's in for Sydney, but beyond that, his future is far from locked in. Plus, glad to reach dry land, Comanche claims the spoils in a brutal Sydney Hobart. And turning 41 and still turning up the heat, LeBron in fine form for the Lakers.
A group of wannabe filmmakers have no investors, no budget, and no clue.
Action!
But they do have a massive
June Fridge Freezer. Just $299 for Adventure Club members at Anaconda. See the movie only in cinemas.
Well, I've done juicing and fasting, paleo, keto, low sugar, no sugar, and now the cabbage soup diet. This is the one. I can feel it.
They can keep doing it the hard way. I'm doing light and easy.
If you're a survivor of institutional sexual abuse, viewer discretion is advised.
For some children, monsters are real. GMP law recognises institutional sexual abuse for what it is, a horrific portrayal by professionals responsible for a child's well-being. We provide a voice, a step towards a better future, a way to start the healing process by making abusers pay for what they've done. And we're experts at doing that. We will support you every step of the way. Call GMP Law today.
HoseLink connects us to nature and each other, where life feels slower and sweeter, where we play, where we grow, where we find joy in the little things. HoseLink, we grow together.
Tom Hiddleston, Laura Dern and Will Arnett. A special New Year's Day Norton, 6 o'clock on 10.
Good evening. Usman Khawaja looks set to play in Sydney, but beyond that, his future is unclear. Coach Andrew McDonald revealing the 39-year-old hasn't given any indication on whether it will be a farewell match. He's also thrown his support behind MCG curator Matt Page, while flagging a spinner is likely to return at the SCG.
Will he or won't he? Speculation around Usman Khawaja's potential retirement following the Sydney Test remains, but there's been no conversations inside the camp.
I think he'll come to us if he's going to retire. There's no doubt about that. And then after this Test match, we've got 8 months to the next one, so we've got a lot of time as a selection group to make that decision.
While it's long been thought the 39-year-old would say farewell to the baggy green in the city he grew up, McDonald says until he's told, it's all external noise.
If we use Davey Warner as a test case, I think he got clapped off from the SCG 3 years in a row because everyone thought it was going to be his last Test match.
McDonald defended MCG curator Matt Page following criticism of the pitch after the 2-day Melbourne Test.
He does an outstanding job, and it's always sort of the perspective that I always use is that we have bad Test matches as well. We had a bad Test match, first Test match last summer. This Test we weren't at our best, and sometimes these things can happen.
After going without a spinner in Melbourne, Australia looks set to drop a paceman for Sydney.
This is an outlier, and we didn't pick a spinner in a red ball Test match in Australia because of the surface that presented, and I suppose all validated with the way the Test match played out in that sense. But yeah, we like to play spinner. Victorian
Todd Murphy remains firmly in the frame after narrowly missing Boxing Day selection.
I'd love to pick Todd. I'd love to see what he's got to offer, and I think he's 7 Test matches into his career. I think he's well placed on the back of the last 2 years as well.
England will be forced into at least one change. Speedster Gus Atkinson has been ruled out with a hamstring injury, with Matthew Potts likely to take his place. Sam Mills, 10 News.
Glenn Maxwell made some Big Bash history in the Stars' win over the Thunder. This massive boundary made him just the second man to hit 156ers in the BBL. The 9-wicket win also means the Stars are now 4-0, their best start to a season in over a decade.
Obviously, it's really good. We can't complain, and we're in a nice spot, and you have to run with this momentum. And we're doing that, and different boys are contributing. It feels really good. It's clinical.
The Stars not quite as clinical in the field, with Harris Ralph and Hilton Cartwright nearly avoiding a brutal collision. Co-skippers Matt Allen and James Mayo will be doing everything they can to lease Comanche again next year after sailing it to line honours in the 80th Sydney Hobart. They are still celebrating, and they deserve to, after a brutal 2 days and 5 hours at sea. A rival skipper declaring it the most unpleasant race to date.
Master Lock Comanche charging down the River Derwent to the finish. As hundreds lined Constitution Dock, the winners switched the spray of the sea for champagne. After being forced to retire last year, this was about redemption.
We were only going to do it if both of us wanted to come back, and we decided to do it and do it at 100%.
He's the man that I need to be involved with, and we had a cup of coffee and the partnership developed, and last year was brutal. But it was unfinished business.
Breaking tradition in opting against throwing a crew member in after a wet and wild 2 nights at sea as the cold and 4-metre waves lashed the fleet.
Get some scissors or knives, you put them in a jar or a plastic thing and you shake it.
Celebrations began at the dock, including the mandatory FaceTime to Mum, James following in his father's footsteps.
He did the second Hobart race, so we just did the 80th. Yeah, so that's special.
Awarded a Rolex for their efforts, the co-skippers are yet to decide how they'll split it.
We never disagree on anything, so we'll sort that one out. And there won't be chopping it in half.
Reigning champions Law Connect hobbled into Hobart after suffering multiple issues.
Coming second's also good, and I think it's obviously not as good as coming first, but against that fleet, it's a good result. It's probably the most unpleasant Hobart I've ever done.
Thankfully, they kept precious cargo intact. Scallywag claiming third. 29 races without a win has taken its toll. The skipper unsure if he's up for 30.
If you ask me right now, no, I don't. But a few beers in the pub might change my mind.
His crew's spirits aren't dry. Tonight won't be either. Brooke East, 10 News.
Nick Kyrgios and Aryna Sabalenka's battle of the sexes has set women's tennis back decades, according to some. The rules were changed to benefit the world number one, but she was still no match for Kyrgios, who is hyping up his win regardless of the critics.
On return from injury, men's world number 671 Nick Kyrgios defeated women's world number one Aryna Sabalenka 6-3, 6-3.
Game, set advance, Kyrgios.
It's Nick Kyrgios that secures victory in the battle of the sexes.
Let me just remind you, I'm one of 16 people that have ever beaten the big four in the world. Andy Murray, Djokovic, Federer and Nadal have all lost to me. And she just proved that she can go out there and compete against someone that's beaten the greatest of all time.
I was so brave to put myself out there against the guy, and I was able to bring, I felt like, such a great tennis.
Some, however, were quick to take issue with the court size being 9% smaller on Sabalenka's side, and with both allowed just one serve each to force placement over power.
So anyone that was negative and that watched, they just love it. They just don't want to love it. But they do love it.
I feel like we just brought more attention to our sport, and I don't see how it can be bad.
In 1973, Billie Jean King defeated former men's world number one Bobby Riggs in a watershed moment for the sport and the history of women's rights. Some believe this most recent event did the opposite.
I'm sure it will be now a cultural movement that will happen more often, and I think it's a step in the right direction.
Kyrgios now prepares for his professional return at the Brisbane International next week. Grigor Dimitrov about to play it for the 10th time in the lead up to the Oz Open.
It's almost like rewarding being back here. I think for given the year that I've had, I feel like this is the best way to start the year.
Ted Roker, 10 News.
Sections of the Barmy Army made the most of the early finish at the cricket and headed for the A-League. They were treated to a show by Tom Lawrence, who scored a hat-trick for Perth Glory against defending champions Melbourne City. The 3-1 result takes Perth to 4 wins, which is all they managed last season. Not that coach Adam Griffiths is concerned by numbers.
Didn't even look at stats. There's too much data in the world. AI just wants to suck it all up, spit it all out. We don't care about stats anymore. Just AI can never replace us because we have emotion and feeling. Okay, so that's the number one thing we delivered today.
The Glory staying in Melbourne to take on Victory on Friday, who host Wellington tonight. Young Socceroo Lucas Harrington is preparing to play his final 2 games for the Brisbane Roar before moving to American club Colorado. Brisbane hoping to replace him in the upcoming January transfer window.
We do our due diligence, and if something comes up, we'll certainly bring in the person we want.
The Roar looking to crash the Mariners party when they play on New Year's Eve. You can catch that clash on Paramount+. With pressure mounting on Tottenham manager Thomas Frank, a win was crucial against Crystal Palace to avoid becoming Spurs' second coach to be sacked this year. And having had 2 goals chalked off for offside, the Lily Whites broke through eventually for a 1-0 win.
And it's ended up in the net. And I think Archie Gray is celebrating his first goal.
Lead striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin continued his hot streak, scoring for the 6th straight game in a 1-1 draw against Sunderland. He turns 41 this week, but LeBron James isn't slowing down. First, he was on the receiving end of this incredible no-look Marcus Smart lob before a ridiculous reverse slam.
Reverse LeBron! The crowd just loves it.
The Lakers destroying the Kings by 24 points, while the Warriors' Draymond Green punished the Raptors, who left him free to nail 4 threes, and he let them know about it. But Toronto had the last laugh with a 14-point overtime win. The 49ers kept their number 1 seed hopes alive after a nail-biting offensive showdown against Chicago, winning 42-38.
Clock has expired. Williams keeps the play alive. He's looking. He's got to get rid of it. Retreating, he throws. Incomplete. It's over. And the Niners have won.
The Patriots secured the AFC East for the first time since Tom Brady's side in 2019, helped by the Eagles holding off Buffalo 13-12 in the final seconds. Now, NHL players are tough, but everyone in the house was moved as 104-year-old World War II veteran Dominic Critelli played the anthem on his sax before the Islanders and Rangers game. Spine-tingling. No wonder the Islanders are flying high. Staff Sergeant Critelli's heartfelt rendition hitting all the right notes for our play of the day. That is incredible, Jade. At 104,
yeah,
how well is he going?
So impressive. I hope he had a music career post-NHL. Thanks, Katie. Steph will be back after the break with the weather.
I'm not a songwriter, I'm not a sex symbol, but I am an entertainer.
It's good.
So good.
Song Sung Blue.
I make it loud.
In cinemas January 1.
Phil Swift here. People everywhere tell me how much they love the Flex Seal family of products. Nothing compares to the original strength of Flex Seal. Flex Tape, Flex Glue, and Flex Paste. Use the Flex Seal family of products to weatherproof and protect virtually everything. Even make quick repairs underwater to help prevent flood damage. Seal up large cracks and holes to keep those nasty pests out of your home. All Flex Seal products create a super strong watertight barrier. Imagine everything you could do with the Flex Seal family of products.
Call Global Shop Direct or go online now to order Flex Seal, paste, tape or glue today. With so many colours and sizing options available, you can tackle any project with the Flex Seal family of products. Like Flex Seal, the liquid rubber in a can. Just a quick shot and Flex Seal instantly coats and seals cracks while remaining completely flexible. It's perfect for home repairs and covers easily. Now everything in plain sight can be sealed watertight. Or try Flex Paste, the incredible rubberized paste that gets into hard-to-reach areas. It's super thick so it clings to the surface and instantly fills gaps and holes for a watertight seal. There's Flex Tape, the super strong waterproof tape that virtually welds itself to the surface to instantly stop the toughest leaks. The powerful adhesive is so strong it even works underwater. And Flex Glue, the super strong rubberized glue with amazing instant grab that holds on tight. With Flex Glue, you don't need screws or nails, making it perfect for all types of repairs. Plus, the Flex Seal family of products come with Global Shop Direct's 30-day money-back guarantee. Patch, bond, seal and protect with the Flex Seal family of products. Order now from Global Shop Direct. Plus, the Flex Seal family of products is also available at Australia Post, Big W, Clark Rubber, Mitre 10, Home Hardware, TV Direct and Anaconda.
This is the story of what it takes to be a parent. It's a journey like no other.
David Attenborough's Parenthood starts Jan 15 on 10.
Watch and stream free.
Welcome back. Time for a final check of the weather. On the satellite photo, we've got two significant weather systems that we can see. The first being this monsoon cloud over North Queensland. That's associated with heavy rain and flooding. And this swirl of cloud off WA's Kimberley coast, where a tropical cyclone has formed, set to make landfall tomorrow. On the synoptic chart, a low in the northern tropics along with a monsoon flow will bring heavy rain and storms. An approaching cyclone will send rain and strong winds to northwestern WA, and hot northerly winds will be felt through South Australia, Victoria and the interior. Rainfall in Queensland from Sunday through to Monday morning was concentrated in two main areas. The North Tropical Coast received 369 millimetres at South Mission Beach, which is about 2 hours south of Cairns. The Gulf Country also got a soaking above 300 mils there. In Queensland tomorrow, temps will peak at 30 degrees amid storms in Cairns. Wet weather will continue in the west of the state, clear in the east. 30 is the high for Mackay, 17 before 27 for Maroochydore, 29 and sunny in Toowoomba. In Brisbane tomorrow, it'll be 30 degrees with clear skies. Mostly sunny conditions continue for Wednesday with 32 degrees and 31 with a chance of showers is Brisbane's New Year's Day forecast. In New South Wales, Coffs Harbour can expect a top of 25 tomorrow. Another warm day for Tamworth with 34 degrees. Mostly sunny 33 for Broken Hill, 36 in Wagga Wagga, and it'll reach 34 degrees in the nation's capital. Tuesday in Sydney will be a moderate 26 degrees, warming to 27 for Wednesday. A possible light shower on Thursday with 24 degrees. In Victoria, it'll be a mostly sunny day all around. Top temps range between 19 and 40 degrees. 38 is the high for Shepparton, and it'll reach 27 degrees in Geelong. Just 21 is the top temp for Falls Creek in the high country, and 19 is the high for Warrnambool. In Melbourne tomorrow, it'll be a low of 20 before 29 in the afternoon. It dips down on Wednesday for New Year's Eve with just 19 degrees the high. It'll warm up again from Thursday with 24 degrees and 30 degrees on Friday, even warmer into the weekend. Down to the Apple Isle, Launceston will reach 25 with partly cloudy skies. A shower is on the cards for Queenstown with a top of 20. Then in Hobart, it'll be 24 degrees tomorrow with a light shower or two. 18 degrees is the New Year's Eve forecast before 20 on Thursday and warming into the weekend. Looking at South Australia, 22 and cloudy is tomorrow's forecast. In Port Lincoln, those clouds stretch all the way to Murray Bridge. In Adelaide City, it'll be cooler. Tomorrow, the mercury will peak at 25 degrees, 26 on Wednesday before warming into the back end of the week. So, Jayde, it is looking lovely everywhere for New Year's Eve.
Yeah, clear skies almost nationwide for New Year's Eve. Thanks, Steph. And that's 10 News for this Monday, December 29.